Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the mid-September 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Scorpio. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you with any intuitive messages that I receive, and of course, as well as the meaning of the tarot cards. I do, however, recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on for you this month. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you subscribe, that helps me greatly, and you'll be notified when I post new content. But with that being said, let's go and jump in and get started. In column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close, so last few weeks or month. Column number 2, we are going to take a look in general what's coming for the remainder of September. We're going to do a money column, a love column, and in the 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides. We're also going to do 3 yes or no questions, take a look at your crystal of the month, and do a healing note. But let's see here. Again, column number 1 is what's wrapping up and coming to a close. We have the card perspective. This is pretty straightforward. Oftentimes with the perspective card, there's something we've gotten a new perspective on in these last few weeks or month. The interesting thing about this card is perspective very rarely comes at face value. So it's like this is a reminder to not take information at face value. I had to reword that so it wasn't a double negative. But again, new perspective these last few weeks. Let's see what other messages we've got here. The first card that we have is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is a card of giving or receiving help. It's a card of generosity. I feel like you maybe gave a little extra, did a little extra for somebody, and I don't know that it really was appreciated, Scorpio. We're going to clarify this, but it's like I feel like you kind of went above and beyond, and the recipient was just kind of meh. We're going to see what comes of that, but that's just kind of the feeling that I'm getting with that Six of Pentacles for the time being. The next card that we have is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is very nurturing, very healing, very supportive. This is you. Again, you stuck out the olive branch. You reached out with your hand for help. And the interesting thing about this Queen of Cups is if you look at the cup on this card, it's really not a cup, it's more of a trophy. The trophy being you, but again, I feel like somebody wasn't treating you as a trophy in return. Like you went above and beyond for somebody else, and again, they were just kind of meh about it. At the bottom here, we have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of rivalry, challenges, obstacles. It's kind of like small conflicts, and a conflict could have come from this. Like you really genuinely were trying to help somebody out of the goodness of your heart, and it just didn't work out that way, or the way you were treated in return. Let's clarify this though and see what other messages I have for you. The first card that we have is the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a card of trusting your intuition, trusting yourself. You very intuitively probably knew that this person needed help, and maybe something didn't feel right from the get-go. Or oftentimes with the High Priestess too, there's some sort of secret. So it's like there was more to the story. I don't feel like you got the full story is what I'm getting at here. And that likely could have led to that conflict a little bit later on. The King of Cups is the next card that we have. So you have the King of Cups on top of the Queen of Cups. The King of Cups, very similar to the Queen of Cups, is a card of being supportive. It's a card of being tolerant, a card of being empathetic. You are genuinely here to support and help this person. And again, I feel like it just didn't work out. It wasn't appreciated in the way that you would have expected it to be appreciated in. And at the bottom here, we have the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is truth coming out. So again, I was just saying with the High Priestess there, they feel like you didn't have all the information, and you may have found out something later, and that's kind of what caused that conflict. Like maybe you gave more help than they needed, or more generous than they really needed. But again, I feel it's like you did something good for somebody, and it kind of was a meh response. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is just in general what's happening through the end of September. We have the card expectations. I like this. Oftentimes when we see this, this means that your expectations are going to be exceeded going into the end of this month. So of course, love that. Another kind of like general check-in with expectations as well. This is kind of about like trying to poke holes in your expectations to make sure, are they high enough? Are they too low? And looking for gaps, and setting realistic expectations. But let's see what messages we have here. All right, all major arcana cards. I like when this happens because I feel like it's like a big, bold, clean message. So the first card that we have here is the Chariot. The Chariot was once described to me as the vroom vroom card. It's an indicator of action and change and being on a journey. One of the nice things about the Chariot is sometimes you just don't know where you're going, but you can have faith and trust in the Chariot that the Chariot is taking you to the right place. So definitely on this path, definitely on this journey to this better place, to this place that's meeting or exceeding your expectations. Along with this journey is likely going to lead to some sort of ending. Anytime there's something new, there just naturally has to be an ending. So as we travel to this new opportunity, this place of meeting our expectations or exceeding our expectations, that does mean something is ending here for us. And we have the World card, which is a card of completion. It's completing a goal, it's completing a lesson. And that very well could be what's propelling the Chariot forward too, is this learning that we went through. And with this learning, we're able to move forward on this journey. At the bottom here, we have the Magician. The Magician's one of those good cards we really truthfully really like to see anywhere in the reading. It's one of those positive cards no matter where it's at. The Magician is a card of focused creativity. It's about turning your visions into reality. This is really neat here because you have the expectations card saying your expectations are going to be exceeded. You have the Magician saying we're going to turn your visions into reality. And if you're focused on your expectations, well, no doubt you're going to reach your expectations. And then it's very obviously in motion with the Chariot here. Things are moving for you. So super neat to see. Let's see what other clarifiers we have here. The first card that we have, first clarifier we have is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is very fast-paced. If you take a look at this horse and rider on the card, they're both moving very quickly. You could have went from a position where like you weren't moving, and now we are on this journey. There's action, there's change, there's speed, there's motion. It's coming quickly. Things are moving quickly for you. So I don't think this is going to be like a slow and steady transformation. Based on the cards, this is something that's going to happen quickly. At the bottom, or not the bottom, excuse me, our next clarifier is the King of Wands. The King of Wands is very bold, very powerful, very charming. You kind of like have to know your worth in this situation. Some of you might be questioning if you learned the lesson, and you did learn the lesson, or some of you might be questioning if you're ready for this next step, and you are. You have to have the courage associated with the King of Wands to move forward. Again, it feels more like a worthiness, which is interesting to me, but definitely the worthiness is there. Have that courage to take that next step. It's very well deserved, very well earned. And at the bottom here, we have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is one of those cards with a lot of different meanings. One of those meanings, I think, is worry, and worry is what I think is coming into play here. Not I think the card means worry. I know the card means worry, but for the majority of you, I feel like the Five of Pentacles energy that's coming through here is worry. And I want to take a second here. So with the Magician, anything is possible, but we need to be focusing on the things that we want. So if you're focusing on worry, you're going to get more worry. Or if you're focusing on the things that could go wrong, that's how things go wrong. So it's going to be really important to you, for you, to think about your expectations, think about the things you want, think about where you want to go with the Chariot. So that's what comes to you. So if you can, keep your worrying at bay, keep your worrying to a minimum. Let's move on now and take a look at our next column, which is anything related to money. Think job, career, finances, businesses you run, investments you have, really whatever you associate with money. Okay, Scorpio, at the top here, we have the Ace of Pentacles. Anytime we have an Ace card, it's a card of newness. So at the case of the Ace of Pentacles, this is new job, raise, promotion, investment, income. I love to see that. Of course, not a better card for our money column. So those of you hoping for a new job, this is a great indicator. Raise, promotion, investment, some sort of new income. So some new money coming into our money column. So that's great to see. The next card that we have is the King of Pentacles, another good money card. The King of Pentacles is a reminder to be solid, practical, and wise with our money. So as this new money comes in, make sure we're making good money choices. The King of Pentacles is also an investment card, so you do have 2 back-to-back investment cards here. As investment opportunities come up this month, I would say likely they're a really good fit for you. And at the bottom here, we have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is an indicator of a decision that needs to be made. I would say likely it will be related to this Ace of Pentacles, like are you going to take the new job? Are you going to take the promotion? Are you going to pursue this new money? Or are you going to pursue this investment opportunity that's coming up? But again, I do see a decision down here. Let's take a look though and clarify our money column. The first card that we have is the Emperor. I like to see this here for you. The Emperor is a very long-term strategic card. So this Ace of Pentacles, this is good long-term money. This is good career move, good investment for you. Again, it's that long-term stable money. The Emperor is also a card of leadership. So some of you very well could be moving into a leadership position. So that's awesome to see. The next clarifier we have is the Six of Wands, another really good confirmation or validation card of this new money. The Six of Wands is a card of victory, award, recognition, good news, success. You could be being awarded with this new job, recognized with this new job, recognized with this increased pay. But very generally speaking, this new opportunity, this new money thing with the Ace of Pentacles is going to be very successful. Again, whether it's new job, promotion, investment, you name it, lots of good energy and success surrounding this new money. And on the bottom here, we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is a card of bully, theft, violence, abusive relationship, some not very good relationship. And this is going to be obviously a work relationship given the column that we're in. I feel like you don't need motivation to make this move because it's the right move for you. But if you did need motivation, it's like the relationships in your current career situation are maybe not the best. Like you don't love your boss or you don't love your coworkers. So it's what it's saying is it's making this decision really easily. Making the decision really easy. Like I said, you didn't really need motivation to go after this new opportunity. But if you were looking for motivation, it seems like the relationships are kind of meh to this month, and that would be a pushing or a motivating factor for you. Okay, Scorpio, now let's take a look at our love column. This could be family, friends, children, relationships, whatever you associate with love. The first card that we have is the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a card of self-defense, or feeling like you need to defend yourself against competition. This is interesting. I feel like a lot of you are in new relationships, so you're kind of in this new relationship stage where maybe exes are somewhat still recent. You could feel like you're like competing with an ex. Some of you could have family that's less accepting of relationship too, and you're feeling like you're having to defend yourself in this relationship. Perhaps some of you are single even, and you're feeling like you have to defend while you're single. The next card that we have is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restrictions. If you take a look at this card, the person is blindfolded, their arms are bound down. But this person has swords stuck all around them, so they could very easily kind of wiggle themselves back and cut themselves free. And what I'm getting is that this cycle of self-defense or competition, you have the ability to end this. Like the exes are not really competition, or let's say you're defending your relationship to your family, you really just don't need to be. I'm getting that you can put an end to this self-defense or this competition. The next card that we have is the Death card. The Death card is a card of transformation. Again, this card does not mean death. I think we talked about that a little bit earlier, but I always like to throw that out there for those that don't know. But the death card, we're going through a transition, and this transition very well could be next steps for a relationship or just even ending this cycle. I feel like it's moving on to something bigger and better. I don't necessarily feel like any relationships are ending, but we're ending a habit, and for many of you, it's going to be this cycle of self-defense or this cycle of competition. Let's clarify, though, and see what other messages we have. The first card we have is the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups has a couple different meanings. One of those meanings, though, is like lack of fulfillment or a feeling of apathy. And I'm not surprised to see this, because when you feel like you're in competition or you feel like you need to defend your relationship, those aren't going to like generate positive feelings. Again, though, we do have the Death card at the bottom, that transformation card, which is really good. So in the near future, I feel like if you're feeling these feelings of apathy or this lack of fulfillment, those are going to ease and start to move away. The next card that we have is the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a card of low feelings. If you take a look at the sky, it's dark. This person's laying down flat. They have a bunch of swords stuck in them. I feel like you feel like it's not going to get better. You feel kind of trapped in this situation, or you feel like you don't have impact over it. But the Eight of Swords is definitely a reminder that you do have impact over it and you have the ability to control or change that situation. So again, definitely find some way, and again, this is in your control, Scorpio, to put an end to this competition or put an end to this cycle of self-defense. And at the bottom here, we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is a card of keeping and maintaining boundaries. For some of you, this transformation that we're talking about with the Death card is going to look like new boundaries. Again, maybe this is ending defending yourself. This is ending this cycle of feeling like you're competing with somebody else for love or attention or time. But boundaries are going to be set as part of this transformation. I like this, though. This is breaking of habits that are not serving us well, and setting new boundaries and new habits that are good for us. Now we're going to take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. We have the card Discernment. This is an interesting one. So if you look at how like lush and lively this card is around this woman, and this is about being a product of your environment. So this is important to surround yourself by good people, eat good food, have healthy habits. I think we forget so much sometimes how much we're affected by those things around us. So again, this is about being a product of our environment. So she is surrounding herself by this healthy, growing, vibrant, beautiful surroundings. Let's see what messages we've got here, though. The first card that we have is the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is a card of loss, regret, grief. It's a card of low feelings. You see this person, they're dressed in all black, they're facing away from us, and their head is hanging low. I feel like we are kind of going back to that discernment, like kind of stuck in this place of low feelings, but all we are surrounded by is low feelings at this point. So there's got to be some sort of shift here, Scorpio, to get away from that. The next card that we have is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is a very resourceful card. This is about being resourceful with all of your resources, your time, your energy, your relationships. So with these resources, you can position yourself where, again, your environment is feeding you versus harming you. So take a different approach. Surround yourself with those successful people. Use your energy to recover yourself and re-energize yourself. Use your words sparingly. Use your money to buy good quality, healthy food that makes you feel good. It's about being resourceful with the resources we have with the Queen of Pentacles. And then at the bottom here, we have the Knight of Swords. We had the Knight of Swords earlier. I like this. These are these quick transformations. You're getting all these kind of quick wins this month, Scorpio. But again, this horse and rider are moving very quickly here, meaning these changes are going to happen very quickly. And they kind of stack on each other. Like one little change has big impacts, and it leads to more and more changes for you. The first clarifier we have is that Seven of Wands. Again, we really need to get away from this cycle of defending ourselves, or this cycle of competition. These are one of the things that's hurting you versus feeding you. But again, look for those positives. Look to use your resources in a better way. The next card we have is the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is very patient. This is like a money card though. This is job, raise, money, some sort of money news. So as new money is coming in here, we too need to be resourceful with that. We talked about the King of Pentacles earlier. As new money comes in, make sure we're being solid, practical, and wise. But again, make sure it's things that are feeding your environment, not hurting you. And at the bottom here, we have the Knight of Cups. This is a love card typically. This is like one of the best love cards out here. It's like your prince or princess charming type card. But this is saying like you can have this perfect environment if you're feeding it correctly. This goes on beyond just love. Again, this is ideal state, and you can have ideal state if we're appropriately feeding our environment. Okay, Scorpio, at this time I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. We're going to use our Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, you can pause the video and think of them really quick. But for question number 1, we have the 9 of Clubs. This is number 26 card. That's going to be a yes. Question number 2 is the 9 of Diamonds. This is number 39 card. That's going to be a yes. And question number 3 is the 6 of Clubs. This is number 43 card. That's going to be a no. So we have yes, yes, no for you, Scorpio. If you watched your video earlier this month, we did pull a crystal from our Healing Stones deck for you. Your crystal this month is calcite, which is good for courage, growth. It really gets you out of a lethargic stage, gives you new drive and new ideas. And last but not least, we're going to pull a card from our Healing Notes deck. Your healing note says, the only courage that matters is the kind that gets you from one moment to the next. Thank you so much, Scorpio, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. Again, subscriptions help me so greatly. Also, if you feel inclined, I did include my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. But thank you, Scorpio, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your September.